Nod research indicates the following. Humans in GDI-friendly territories are suffering respiratory problems in significant numbers. Tiberium also has a profound negative impact on human immune and reproductive systems. Still unknown is the extent to which Tiberium affects human DNA. Nod analysts predict 3 out of 5 humans will suffer Tiberium-related illnesses within the next 3 years. End transmission. Stand by.
Well done. You are truly becoming Kane's favorite. How would you like to ensure your place in the highest echelons of Nod? Surely you are ambitious enough to take on a mission of tremendous magnitude. Your goal is so secret, even Kane knows nothing of it yet. You see, power shifts quickly in the Brotherhood. I've taken the liberty of dispatching your troops to the U.S. Kane has been loath to attack America, but I feel that it's time, and that you're the one to do it. This is the Pentagon. A full frontal attack with your strongest forces should render their military center of operation.
Yes. Power shifts more quickly than some people think. I am Kane. When I get your troops back from the States, I want you to take what men you have left and secure this abandoned GDI base. Once in, build up an arsenal of weapons and use them to wipe out the remaining GDI presence. Oh, and congratulations on your promotion.
What is up, everyone? Here we go with another Command & Conquer 95 mission. Now, we're going to be going with the Brotherhood of Nod's mission 8 now, and this is going to be a longer one. This is actually going to be a mission that features a little bit of base building, a little bit of slow crawling through the fog of war, because you want specific units to engage one another in a specific way to get the ideal starter. The amount of units that you have surviving this initial push is important because it's all stuff that you use as part of a later push. You'll see what I mean by that as we push forward.
New construction.
So, one of the things that makes this mission a touch easier is actually an AI exploit. I've mentioned it before as part of the GDI streams, as well as it was also part of the live streams that I did of the bonus missions. The AI really likes focusing Chinooks. Like, it really likes focusing Chinooks. Like, an unholy amount does it like to focus Chinooks. So by keeping your Chinook alive and safe, you can actually do a lot of damage to the GDI attacks without ever actually killing anything. Because what will happen is, by maintaining this Brotherhood of Nod base and a strong presence over GDI, they will try to finish off that base before attacking your new base. What that actually means is that all their units are going to get stuck on the northernmost point of the map, trying to attack a target that they can't actually reach. So what we're doing now is just being very careful about what we do, producing a quick barracks so that we don't have to worry about ferrying units anymore because our Chinook is low. Now, the intention of the developers was always to not have the Nod base be standing for much longer. GDI has access to airstrikes, and GDI will use airstrikes to remove you from the northernmost point on the map, so that their units can target your actual base that it can reach. However, as I've told you before in previous missions, the well-known exploit is the GDI airstrike will always target the most northwestern part of the map, and your base is in the northeast. So, by individually moving infantry to that spot there, where I've got that minigunner, we can indefinitely keep our base safe from GDI airstrikes.
Ready. Building. On hold. Cancel.
Now, there is still an inherent challenge in trying to get this base established. and it involves a little bit of harvester crushes just to free enough of the Tiberium that you can then sort of safely harvest. And there we go. We've got a few good crushes. There's going to be patrolling Humvees that are going to deal a little bit of damage to us because they are just on a patrol. They'll run past several times. And we're going to look to get our second refinery. I'm going to repeat for the 1,000,000th time, it's always better to build a harvester for one refinery than to build two refineries at one harvester each. Move those infantry away so they don't get caught in the crossfire of an airstrike. But we are ultimately focusing on increasing the size of our base. And now that the airstrike has targeted that one, we replace him with another infantry. Move those infantry slightly further away, because I was a little worried by how close that actually came to him. And I'm just messing around with a Chinook now. While I wait for the economy to start establishing itself, you can do this really cool thing with the helicopters where they'll try to land on the closest bit of land they can. So by giving them weird orders, you can get them to land in a few unusual places. If you remember, we used that for one of the GDI missions, GDI 14, to actually... not GDI 14, GDI 13, to clear out the level a little bit.
Our base is under attack.
So we've only got one harvester, so we're being very, very, very mindful of the fact that we've only got one harvester.
Building. Construction complete. Low armor. Building.
So the start to this level is tough because you have the GDI patrols cause all sorts of trouble because they will still attack the base, because all they're actually doing is patrolling the area, the pieces of Tiberium around your base. They're not actually attacking you in any way.
Building.
But because you're in range, they will then turn and shoot, or they will attack your harvester, and they will cause a little bit of economic damage. That can be stressful to deal with this level. But once you get the base established, because of the aforementioned glitch that I have already talked about, you'll actually find this level to be a bit trivial.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Now, unfortunately, grenadiers are really, really strong when they're used by the AI. So they took out a lot of our infantry, but we're about one more load away from actually receiving our second refinery and having a much stronger economy.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
It may seem like the glitch that I was talking about of the AI not focusing us because it's trying to get to the northern base doesn't exist because of the amount of units we've been attacked by. But trust me, as you can see from the gun turret there on that tank, they are very much distracted. And if once I reveal the northern bank, you'll see just how much we haven't been hit by that the AI has wanted to hit us with. And you'll see why I opt for this particular strategy and how it actually helps take some of the chaos out of this level. So you saw in the cutscene, this is our first introduction to Kane as our mission giver, and he will give us missions from here on out. If you couldn't quite follow or understand what's been happening, is Seth has been growing increasingly jealous of our efforts as a Brotherhood of Nod commander, and was trying to get us to launch a full frontal attack on the Pentagon with a small and, as you already know, pitifully armed Nod army, in the hopes that he would get us killed. He did not, because Kane interrupted this and promoted us to Seth's old position. So we are now a trusted Nod commander, officially taking missions from Kane himself.
Construction complete.
And from here on out, we get a bunch of cutscenes with Kane, and I'm really looking forward to it because, as anyone who knows me knows, one of the things I love the most about the Command & Conquer series is, in fact, Kane himself. He is a significant highlight.
Unit lost.
So, another airstrike, another casualty. We're just going to replace the infantry, keep them away from our base, and make sure that they are permanently stuck trying to bomb that side. You're thinking, what if this mission takes really long? Well, you've got a hand of Nod up there, and so you can just make more infantry if you really, really need to. Now, if you take too many in the starting casualties or anything like that, you can just produce as much infantry as you want from the hand of Nod.
Our base is under attack. Construction complete.
Gotta love that guard tower sound. Unfortunately, Nod missions feature you playing as GDI more than I would like. So we do have to put up with the guard tower sounds a little bit more. But the mission's a little bit slow to get going. As you can probably see from the video length, the vast majority of this mission is just getting it going. We've got a couple of Humvees now, and we'll use those to scout out a little bit of the map and start to show you what we're actually dealing with. So I was just hotkeying them to make them easier to control. You can get this thing where they deselect, it can be quite annoying. So you can see the sort of the silhouettes on the border of the shroud, the GDI units that have tried to attack us, and the patrols that they have in the mountain pass. We're trying to aggro as much as we can, and deal with as much as we can through just the Humvee push. Our actual attack will be engineers and APCs again. As you can probably guess, you're probably well used to me using that tactic by now. It's effective against the AI. So by revealing lots of the map, you get to see how GDI moves. GDI does have orcas in this level, and as you've seen, GDI is very good about using them to defend their bases, as I advise players to do when playing as GDI. So always use your orcas to defend your base. So we lost those units, but as you can see, we've revealed everything we need to know about the GDI base. Of course, if you've played this game as many times as I have, you know the base already, but it's good to do that as a good practice thing, in case you can't remember where everything is. The amount of time you have when you're actually... Guard tower. The amount of time you have when you're actually pushing in is very small because of the orcas. It's one of the things that Westwood did for the AI to really pressure you and make it a little bit harder to just do whatever you want inside an AI base. GDI will very, very aggressively use those orcas to defend its base. So even if you sit, it has a perimeter within which it will use the orcas, and it's not the same perimeter as its base. So if you try to surround the base and you sit a touch too close, you'll still find yourself getting hit by orcas.
Construction complete.
Now, I've seen a couple of interesting strategies involving the Chinook. I don't personally use them because I'm not quick enough, I don't think, to do what they want me to do. But you can use the Chinook to land on the south bank with rockets, and use those rockets to actually take out the orcas and then break down that wall and capture them from behind. I don't do that.
Unit ready.
Or do I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Moving out. Moving out.
So APCs are hardier than Humvees, so you can use them as a scouting vehicle, but you have to remember they're also much more expensive. Gunboats are a little bit broken. They pick a target and they will only shoot that target until they're shot. So long as the unit that is the gunboat's target is not trying to sneak into the GDI base, you can use a gunboat. You can just run past that path. The gunboat's meant to protect you.
Unit ready.
But it very rarely does. I wouldn't ever chance running past a gunboat. There's some later nod levels that can give you real trouble when you're trying to run past a gunboat if you've run its target.
Building.
So it's safer to treat the gunboat like it can shoot at you and be pleasantly surprised when it doesn't, and to try to plan accurately around what the gunboat does and does not do. So the continuous stream of Humvees is one of the things that's making it a bit difficult to sneak into the GDI base.
Moving out. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Waiting order. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
So at this point, I'm thinking about how I want to get these engineers in. I've got engineers split across the APC and the Chinook. We're just trying to sneak things in.
Moving out. Moving out. Moving out. Waiting affirmative. Yes, sir. You got it.
GDI building.
Yes, sir. Roger.
GDI building.
So what ended up happening there was kind of exactly what we wanted, which was the units got so distracted by chasing my Chinook,
GDI building.
or chasing my APC, that the Chinook could take out the landing pads and the refinery. So GDI is now completely starved of resources
Unit ready. Construction
and has no
complete.
construction yard, and has lost control of its orcas, which were the three things that were going to give us sort of a problem.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit
And we even kept the Chinook alive, which is,
Unit
for me, a good thing.
moving out. Acknowledge.
As I've said, the gunboat patrolling, if you're its target, it will absolutely obliterate you. If you're not, then it's
GDI
fine.
building. Cache primary building selected. Unit ready.
Moving out.
Unit lost.
That was unfortunate,
Building.
but at this point it doesn't matter too much. GDI doesn't even have the means to produce infantry anymore, so a sufficient sized medium tank army will just steamroll over what
Unable
remains
to
of GDI
comply.
at this point.
Building in progress.
The
Unable
gunboats
to
do not
comply.
count as
Building in
units you have to
progress.
kill for a mission accomplished, even though they are GDI units and they are present on the battlefield. The game does not force you to kill them to win the level, ever.
Construction complete. Building.
So you don't have to worry about how am I going to reach those.
Affirmative.
Doing some weird tactic with capturing the orcas on the helipad or something. You don't have to do any of that, you can just ignore the gunboats.
Construction complete.
Some players will want to destroy gunboats just out of principle because gunboats are incredibly annoying, but you don't have to.
Unit lost.
And you can still see all of these GDI units that are stuck on the northernmost point on the map.
Construction complete. Building.
Those are all units that, again, would be crashing into us quite hard if we didn't have the northeastern base fully established.
Construction complete. Building.
So the pathfinding is very interesting in the original Command & Conquer, and by very interesting I mean absolutely terrible.
Construction complete.
As you can see, this tank is absolutely convinced that this path is blocked, even though we all can see that it is very much not. And is not the best about selecting the most accurate path.
Construction complete.
But all that really remains for this mission now is to push in with the tanks and clear up. So I'm going to be quiet and let the sounds of the game do the rest of the talking for me. This was a slightly longer video, and I hope to see you in the next one.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Moving out. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, affirmative. Yes. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Construction complete. Building.
Moving out. Yes, moving. Yes. Acknowledge. Yes, moving out. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Moving out. Affirmative.
Construction
Yes, sir.
complete.
Acknowledge. Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Acknowledge. Moving out. Acknowledge. Moving out. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir.
Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Building.
Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, moving out. Yes, sir.
Construction complete. Building.
Acknowledge. Moving out. Acknowledge.
Construction
Moving out.
complete.
Moving out. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Building. On hold. Cancel.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Unit. Affirmative. Affirmative. Moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Moving out. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Yes, sir. Moving out. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out. Moving out. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Moving out. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Acknowledge. Moving out. Acknowledge. sir. Moving out. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Vehicle reporting. Moving out. Moving out. Unit moving out. Moving out. Affirmative.
Mission accomplished.